very, very hard. Probably a wadded up, wasted race car there, right there.
Quickly getting the front pick to it. It's the 1F of Ryan Thomas, unfortunately the one up into the wall. Thomas, his Chili Bowl ending here as...
some bumper damage for
back bumper hanging off of Harley White's car. Let's go down to Brian Ward.
Yeah, guys, checking out this car. The right front radius rods are bent. The left front shock is broke. As he turn, can't get a better look at the left front, but you guys are absolutely correct. The front end has too much damage to continue in the 1F.
Oh, Harley's going to exit to the work area, probably try to rip that bumper off. She must have seen it up on the screen. There's no way she could have seen it from the cockpit.
Let's get a second look here at the Joe's Racing Products replay as you'll see him coming into the screen, and boy, just biked her up and had no way to get her stopped. Thomas, hometown in Indianapolis, running for Mike Thomas, a spike with an S-Linger in it, and his Chili Bowl is done. Meanwhile, work continues on Harley White's 17.
Tough break for her because she was right around that. She had a good chance at a transfer because she started right next to Bellum behind Swindell.
Still a lot of time. Brian Ward's made his way over into the work area, and we can hear you, Brian.
Yeah, it looks like they've got all the clearance off the fuel cell. I'm not sure what other issues they had with that bumper, but they were all working on all hands on deck. Well, they came, there it comes off again. The left side where the rear bumper goes into the spuds, it's come out, so they were trying to squeeze it in there and put it in the spuds. Right side is connected, but the left side is not, so they're going to just push it back into the work area and probably have to hope for another yellow.
I don't know why they don't just push her off unless they wouldn't let her. I don't know.
Sammy now starting at a transfer spot in the 1.
Keep your eye on Kyle Bellum, and who's that on the outside of him? They'll be tussling for the final transfer.
That
the 11
is the 11 M of Jeff Schindler. As we try it again here.
Bellum backed it up, got alongside Sammy back there. Oh, big one down the back straightaway, Kyle Bellum. My goodness. That was big. Kyle started flipping as he got the car straight off of turn number 2 and along for the ride he was after that. Nixa, Missouri's Kyle Bellum. Behind the wheel, the Arc Wrecking of Oklahoma, number 93. Scott Morgan, the car owner.
Man, tough ride there for Bellum, but safety crew on the scene.
He had just gotten a really good restart, and he had pulled up alongside Sammy through turns 1 and 2 on the restart. And I don't know if he and Sammy made contact upon the exit of turn number 2, but you see the end result right there. And such a great young man. Haven't seen him climb out of the car yet, just yet. See the front end of the race car folded up.
Yeah,
there's a lot of damaged parts on that race car, and the helmet comes off. That's good to see.
I don't think he's continuing on.
No, he's done. You see that front end. There's a lot more. There he comes out. Doggone it. Evie and Ella's daddy is okay.
1 lap complete, 9 to go.
Man, I hate that for those boys.
Got a couple different angles of this here on the Joe's Racing Products replay. We'll get a look at it. So Bellum up near the wall on the back straightaway, taps it.
Just carrying a little bit too much extra momentum off of turn number 4 there, Connor. And he, like you said, look at that lady in the background.
Yeah.
Tagged the right rear with the wall, and that was all she rode after that. He was along for the ride, and the big cartwheel all the way down the back straightaway. And the poor lady in the green, about to have a coronary. She couldn't believe. Right.
So there's a look at the Joe's Racing Products replay. So let's go down to Brian Ward.
Yeah, guys, Bellum went ahead and went up the ramp, but Harley White was still here in the work area, and that flip with Kyle Bellum was helped them out because they were able to get that rear bumper put in, The problem is they had no clips, they had no bolts, nothing to hold that rear bumper in. All 4 corners to hold the rear bumper in and come out of the spuds. And so they were able to get it in place, but then when a little push went on it and the pressure came off, it just popped right out. So they came here, trying to figure out what they could do. They asked if they could push off without the rear bumper, and the official said, no, you have to have the rear bumper on there. So they went and they've got duct tape on 2 of the spuds. They found some of the spare wire just laying here in the work area that they use on the fence repairs. Just threw some baling wire in there to put through that bumper and wrapped it around the chassis. So it is just fixed up just enough to get that bumper in there and out on the racetrack.
Wow. Well, per my speculation, guys, why not rip it off and go without unless they say you can't do that? Well, there you
how are
have
you
it.
going to push start the car?
You could push it on the rear tail tank. It's just not super safe. Hey, listen. We talk about being grassroots and being the core of racing here. We just hooked the bumper up with duct tape and baling wire. Amen. Green flag.
Back underway. Swindell in the 1, working to the inside of Steve Glover, and has Jeff Schindler to his outside. As it's Stasa, Routson.
Oh, big bike for Sam.
Sammy a little sideways out of turn number 2 following the bike in the 7J of Sean Jackson is going to be in the 4th position as Sammy is now in the final transfer spot. Problems for Steve Glover in the 121, running in the 5th position, so in a transfer spot falls out. Sammy now to 5th, and Bob Schaefer holding down the final transfer spot with Jeff Schindler behind him.
Harley.
She's got a little way to come still. She was 10th at the line the last time around as you're watching Schaefer battling.
Schindler going to throw the slide job. It's going to get him into a transfer spot. So the 11M has found something and currently is in a position that would see him move on. Bob Schaefer and Todd Kluver currently on the outside looking in. As there's Sammy in the 1, riding in 4th, looking for 3rd. Steiners and Swindell, 2 veterans of open wheel racing on the front straightaway here. This in Maine, as there's about 2.5 laps to go.
Glenn Steyer's holding a pretty wheel right now, holding Sammy off.
Swindell to the inside, probably not going to press the issue too much as he doesn't want to take both of them out of a transfer spot. Swindell is going to get the 3rd spot. As there's a look at Jack Ralston, the race leader, picks up the win. Jeff Stasa going to come home in 2nd, Swindell 3rd. Glenn Steyer, Sean Jackson, and Jeff Schindler will transfer on. So those drivers will tag the tail of the first M main.
Mark another one off as we climb our way through Saturday morning. Glad to have you guys in here with us as N main number 2 is next up on the program.
Just have a log jam up on the ramp.
Well, lots going on up there. I saw the same tweet that Connor did that said that there were angry people, but no one's been able to confirm that other than the one guy who tweeted it. So
Looks rather tame there right now.
NOS Energy ramp cam looking nice and clean for us. Booth powered by NOS, and a huge thanks to Lauren and her team. We've had some of our NOS drivers down here special guesting with us this week as both Nick Hoffman and Tyler Courtney spent some time in the booth. Of course, we got Logan Seavey for a couple of days, and then Clinton Boyles was with us on Monday. It's been great to have the driver's perspective on everything that's gone on, all things Chili Bowl this year, as we get ready for N feature number 2.
You know, I hadn't had the opportunity to meet Mr. Nick Hoffman until he stopped me there on the base of the ramp the other night, as we had a break, and he introduced himself. Very personable young man, and he's chock full of talent.
In main number 2, Kenny Johnson, Travis Buckley on the front row, Raymond Pinella, Caleb Says in row 2, Sean Chappell, Tucker Clausmeyer, row 3, Larry Peterson, Ryan Hall, row 4, Jake DePerry, Josh Hodge in row 5, Row 6 finds Sean Destins and Jory Hughes, which were transfers out of the second O main. And then looking at row 7, going to be Ricky Gaunt and Rocky Silva, Michael Kuntz, and Ryan Mosier. So we've seen Kuntz, we've seen Silva, also Mosier transfer. There are a couple of different soups, I believe.
Tuck should be one to watch here.
Oh, yeah.
Starting the 6th and final transfer spot. His qualifying night did not go as he wanted it to. There you get a shot of the legend in his own mind, Mr. John himself, Johnny Herrera, out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, right behind that Smiley's pylon. He's making his way down the ramp.
Johnny's had a really good career, you know. It's between his time on the Outlaws and then back home to Albuquerque for a little while, and then his run with the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series, and now car owner and crew chief to the Stars.
Indeed, and a shout out to his beautiful, blessed, wonderful mother, Martha. And if she ever invites you over for her famed enchiladas, just bring the Tums. That's all I can tell you. Martha, a beautiful lady, and Johnny has had a wonderful career, now a mentor to the Morton boys, spinning wrenches for both of them. And kudos to Johnny as he had an opportunity to get back in the seat, subbing for McLaren Vale, South Australia, Scotty Boguski for the finale this year down at the Devil's Bowl Speedway, and went out, won his heat, was quick. Then he fell out of the seat after a front row starting position, and he said that's what happens when you turn into an old man. Nevertheless, a great opportunity for him to get back behind the wheel.
There's a look at the New Zealand native Travis Butley. Came to the States this summer and competed in a lot of USAC midget races. And wasn't his first year here. He's ran midgets in the Midwest and in the United States quite a lot over the years. He's been around a while.
It's a Cruiseman Driving School entry here for this event. It is a Bullet with an S-Slinger underneath it for Buckley. He is our New Zealand driver that's here. Caden Brown representing Australia.
Tom Harris representing the United Kingdom.
Right. We can say that Brooke Tatnall is technically representing Australia as well, as he still lists Sans Souci, New South Wales as his hometown, but we know he's been up in Minnesota for
a lot of oil.
a good chunk of time.
Look at the fluid being lost out from beneath that thing. That's the oil tank dangling, I do believe. Goodness. Hate to see him go up the ramp like that.
Once we get the track and the infield clear, we will fire off in main number 2. Let's go to Chris Wilner.
Yeah, guys, one of our pavement specialists taking on the Chili Bowl Nationals for the first time, Travis Braden. First of all, welcome to Championship Saturday. You got some soup to run. Are you hungry?
I am. I hope I can at least do one. My goal, I'd be awesome if I could do 2. So we'll see what we can do.
I know you did some testing back at Millbridge Speedway and started to get used to this race car, but what has the atmosphere been like for you as a guy coming from the pavement world?
Oh, it's been phenomenal, and everyone's been really welcoming. But this is so different, you know, so fast-paced and you know, 8 or 10 lap dash races. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind to get used to it, but it's a lot of fun, and I like the challenge. I want to do it again sometime.
Everybody usually gets the Chili Bowl itch and they keep coming back. What's it been like working with Flea Ruzick, though, a guy who knows a thing or two about these midgets?
It's been great. You know, I probably haven't got to really work with him a lot yet, just spend time with him, but he's a really cool guy, and I'd like to go run some more races with him sometime and get to know him a little bit better. And
last thing, I know there's not much, but does anything translate from a super late model to a midget?
I can't think of anything.
I figured.
The only thing that translates is the Racing America on the side of the car, right? Like, that's what I'm used to, and we're so proud to have them on the car. That's about the only thing that's the same.
Awesome. Travis Braden, good luck for you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see him here in a little bit. Travis Braden, once again, super late model ace, and now he's going to tackle the midget with Racing America on the side.
All sheet metal guys are welcomed into the Expo Center as well.
That's right.
We were talking earlier about the melting pot. It's just so amazing from all the representatives of so many different kinds of motorsport, Caleb and Connor.
That's how cool this experience is here in Tulsa at the Chili Bowl and how coveted the Golden Driller is.
Christy McDougal with the flags now. Mother of one Jason McDougal, Factor One Racing. There's Christy.
And there's Terry.
Uh-oh, Terry's wanting them to get in line, boys.
Congratulations, Terry, on becoming the new owner of the American Sprint Car Series.
And did I see Promoter of the Year?
360 Promoter of the Year,
How
and
about
certainly
that?
deserving. Of course, his work with the ASCS Warrior and Sooner regions, the now 600 Micros, the OCRS Series, which has really made a comeback here in the state of Oklahoma. The Champ 305 Wayne Sprint Car Series was, not, let's put it this way. They weren't as good as they have been in terms of car counts and reach and stuff like that since Terry took them over. So props to Terry on doing that.
Well, that boy's got his plate full, and I'm just in awe of how he has continually just handled everything. And while we're keeping it in the family, a big shout out to one Blake Hahn for picking up the huge accolade through North American 360 Rookie of the Year.
Should mention that Terry split that award, and not that he wasn't winning with it, but also promoters of the SCCT and Placerville Speedway picking up co-winners of the 360 Promoter of the Year. Good people out there, cool racetrack.
Keep your eye on Paola, Kansas. Tucker Klassmeyer starting in the sixth and final transfer spot here. We are underway.
We're underway. Johnson slides up in front of Buckley here. Klausmeyer already moving forward early. Gets by Raymond Panella in 17D, and Klausmeyer up to the fourth position. Buckley off the berm. Sayes had to hop on the minors and stay out of the lead to avoid him. Ends up losing a lot of positions as Klausmeyer into third now. I think that's the 45.
Sean Deskins.
Yeah, Sean Deskins in the fifth position as Panella is going to lose the final transfer spot to Jacob Perry. That's the 4J of Josh Hodge. Hodge is now registering on the scoring loop, but Hodge is right behind Perry. Whoa! That's for the transfer spot, excuse me. Went down to the berm, has Ricky Gaunt all over him.
Super Ricky all over the bumper of the 4 of Hodge, and we've got a heated battle going on. Give it to Ricky.
Well, this right here is the battle for the 7th position as those two teammates both trying to track down Jacob Perry, who holds down the spot. Gaunt has a shot of him headed down the front straightaway.
I'd say chances are that Ricky should be able to take this spot if everything works out right.
Seems to have found something up on the top of the racetrack. Perry, though, strong as we double botch. Klausmeyer in a transfer spot, closing in on the lead. Late race caution.
Right
and
rear.
The right rear tire is gone on the 17K of Michael Kuntz, and that will end his run through the soup today.
If you get a good look at that wheel's wadded up pretty good too, guys. Not only is the tire gone, that wheel is chewed up. Look at that, man. At the outer edge of that. Great shot, guys.
So the wrecker over to hook up the 17K of Kuntz, and they'll get him taken to the pit area. Was running in the 8th position.
See the tire on the back of that cart too, it was punctured. Oh.
Joe's Racing Products replay gets into the wall, and that's what happened.
I'm kind of curious of what would cause that puncture. I didn't notice him getting into the wall that hard to create for the tire to explode and to create all of that damage on that right rear wheel. See that huge puncture right there, ripped, and the wheels just jumped.
Definitely could have made some contact with something that was in or on the fence.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, just a slight bit of contact on that jersey barrier doesn't cause all of that damage. So peculiar to me, what in the world caused it to puncture and explode and just annihilate that wheel as it did. Nonetheless, he's done. We can worry and ponder and pontificate all we want. Makes no matter.
Kenny Johnson, the leader, Tucker Klausmeyer, Travis Butley, Caleb Sage, Sean Deskins, and Jacob Perry are the cars in the 6 transferring positions as of now. Ricky Gaunt, Raymond Pinella, Sean Chapel, and a couple others looking to get in. Back to green, Klausmeyer to the inside of Johnson, looking for the lead.
Interestingly enough, both of the Jeff Johnson cars in this race bookending the transfer spots, one at the very front, one on the bubble right now.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Super Ricky Gaunt continue his march forward here. He's still on the outside looking in with a couple of laps to get it done.
Oh, just wait for this transponder loop to update. Gaunt is in now. He just got around Perry and now eyeballing Deskins. As there's Klausmeyer looking to the inside, looking to shuffle Johnson back a position. They're nearly side by side at the end and give it to Johnson just by a hair. Margin .182 for Johnson over Klausmeyer, but both of them will advance, as well as Buckley, Size, Deskins, and Gaunt moving up at least into the back of the M feature.
So as forecast, Paola, Kansas, Tucker Klausmeyer putting a drive on, going to the front, but did he get him at the line? No?
Nope, he did not.
Came up just short.
Tough break for Jacob Perry as the late race caution results in him losing a transfer spot.
Nice ride by Ricky Gaunt.
Running for Bill Rose. Bill, one of the real good guys.
Super good dude.
Runs everything. Silver Crown, non-wing, wing sprint, midget. A little upset he doesn't have a car for himself here this year, but love Bill Rose. Good dude. Former outlaw, amongst other things. Former IRA champion.
Believe he might have been, if I can remember right, there was some confusion to it. Might have been the 2011 World of Outlaw Rookie of the Year.
Who's that?
Bill Rose. There was some confusion. I don't remember what they ended up going with. So it should have been Cody Dara, but I want to say Cody had some travel issues and missed a race, and they weren't going to give him the Rookie of the Year award as he had missed a race. There was something along those lines, but Bill Rose may have been the World of Outlaw Rookie of the Year in 2011.
Gosh, Connor,
I'm sure somebody
Connor,
can tweet me.
You were only 8 years old then.
I'm older than that, Scott.
Did I just see you yawn a second ago?
You may have.
Dean Mills just sent me a picture of he took in the pit area of him, Gaunt, and Bill. Ricky hasn't been in a race car in 5 years. I remember him retiring out from his activity down there in the Southwest. So very cool that he gets to go back in a race car, making the most of it. He was up on the hammer there for...
I tell you what, before he took his hiatus, one of the more entertaining left coast drivers in all of open wheel racing, Super Ricky Gaunt. He'll flat get her done, not afraid to climb up on the top side, and a standout non-wing driver in his own right.
Now, you've been in the Midwest for a long time. You ventured out West Coast a little while. Do you remember some of those characters who used to populate the USAC CRA group? I mean, you know, Damian Gardner's come out of there and certainly made a name for himself, but you had Super
Robbie
Ricky
Flock.
down there. Rip Williams. That dude was fun. Danny Faria.
Yeah. You know, I still have Ventura Raceway on my bucket list, and Colby Deming and Blake Edwards are going to make up the front row. Guys, take it away.
Aiden Schmidt, Danny Wood making up row number 2. Travis Braden, Brian Walters in row number 3. Cody Hayes, Evan Garvey in row 4. Ricky Montgomery, Kevin Douglas in row 5. Jack Ralston, Jeff Stassa, row 6. A couple of transfers from the inn. And then moving on to row number 7.
Sammy's going to be in row 7.
Sammy Swindell and Glenn Stiers, and then Sean Jackson and Jeff Schindler in row 8. Let's throw to Chris Wilner.
And they're rolling the Ricky Gaunt machine right around the corner and ready to rip and roar again. Super Ricky threw a couple. What do you think, bud?
You know, it's they left the door open. They let some old fat bastards come in here. I saw a car with my name on the visor, so Came here to drink some beer and ended up racing.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're doing an awfully good job at the former here first. What do you think of this thing as we try to make it 3 up here in the soup?
It's still early. It's so tough to pass. It's like one groove. You got to wait for some guy to kind of make a mistake or push, and you kind of take what you can get. But I'm having a ball. Billy Rose, we've been buddies for 30 years. I get to come see some of my old friends. Some guys still remember who I used to be, and I'm having a ball. I'm so happy to be here.
Scotty Cook in the booth is absolutely loving your performance. Nice job.
Thank you so much. Tell Scotty I'm a fan of his, too.
Awesome.
Hey,
we
look
all
at
are. Scotty Cook, you got a fan down here, Ricky Gaunt.
I like the helmet, too. He's still got the custom lid all painted up.
Scotty Cook, we don't even want to talk about your biggest fan. From Lake Ozark this year?
Oh. Chicken Man.
That's right. That was something.
Oh,
Caleb, you don't even want to know.
no, you told me this story in a car ride, and I mean, it's appropriate for the air. I just don't know that we should. We got
Nothing PG or R-rated about it. It's just a man in a chicken suit that has fun.
so many ways
So
I could
funny.
go off this. Main event on the racetrack. 10 laps, 6 cars. This can be good. So it's round 2 for Sammy. We're going to have our eyes back on him. He's a little bit deeper than he was last time, if you remember. Let's go up top. We got an update for Chris Wilner. Chris.
Well, just wanted to hang with some of my NASCAR contingency here. Second-generation NASCAR driver Jesse Little. Inaugural Chili Bowl. You've been hanging out with Nick Drake all week trying to learn something. What did you learn this week?
From Nick, I've learned a lot of what not to do. No, I'm just kidding. He's a great buddy of mine and has helped me out quite a bit here. I've learned, there's so much inconsistencies with the track that it's just a matter of being on top of it, adapting. I've been having a blast, even with being back here in the M. I'm enjoying it. We're going to hopefully go out there and have some more fun.
Best of luck. You get a lot of seat time here today. Enjoy it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Jesse Little, another member of the NASCAR group, trying to tackle the Chili Bowl, coming off here in a little bit.
Well, stopped on the raceway. That's Aiden Schmidt. Schmidt scheduled to go inside row number 2. And if this is his second push, he'll go to the back, and that slides. They have not been crisscrossing, so that'll slide the entire row up. And again, for Sammy fans out there, this is a big deal. That'll move him an entire row closer to a top 6.
And as you said a little bit earlier, for every car that you don't have to pass, it's one you don't have to mess with later.
Yeah, first and foremost, Sammy's got to get into the top 6, and then he's going to go hunting for better starting spots, and let's see where he ends up.
Second time out on the track for Sammy Swindell, a little bit wider than the last time, and every time we see him out on the track, the anxiety and the anxiousness and excitement goes up. A treat for the crowd coming in today.
He said he had the car to make a run through the soup, so Sammy just trying to keep his nose clean and put a run together.
And obviously, after he alluded, not happy, a bad taste in his mouth with the call the other night. So he mentioned possibly I could have just loaded up and went home, but we're here to make the most of it today.
I think Salty Sammy is probably going to run just a little bit harder than he even normally would, as he's starting 11th here in this M main event. 10 laps, top 6 are going to transfer forward. He's got some work to do, but see what Sammy Swindell can pull off. I mean, he is he's on the Mount Rushmore of open-wheel dirt drivers, and certainly you could talk about him as the GOAT here at the Chili Bowl.
For sure.
Well, he is the all-time Chili Bowl champion, and not as young as he once was, but he'll still flat get her done, and nothing less on entertainment as well, that's for sure.
He's as good as he ever will be today, that's for sure.
Green flag in the air, and turn number 4. Dimmick and Edwards up in the front row. Edwards gets a good jump, crosses down to the bottom in 1 and 2, and drives away. It's Danny Wood in the 91X, the black car under strain. Caution comes out. Car got up into the wall and upside down. So 2 different incidents here. Jeff Schindler in the 11M was the car around. Then we did a car that was up into the wall and upside down in turns 3 and 4. And I didn't see who it was before it happened.
I didn't either. We'll get him turned back on the correct side.
It's the 15K Evan Garvey, I think.
Garvey would have been going outside row number 4 on the field.
Guys getting the car turned around so that they can get it put back on all fours.
Another one of the Cruiseman entries.
The rear end of that car is just destroyed.
Guys,
Yeah, put him on the hook.
standing down here, this one's got an S-Slinger in it, it looks like. Got Ford, it's a Roush engine in this car, and the stacks and airbox were knocked off the top when that car went over, so got Kelly Crane with those picked up. As we might try to get a word in here once he hops on the mule. He gives a wave to the crowd. We'll pop the visor up. He's going to get the helmet off, and we'll try and get a word in. I know you guys were focused on the car spun around in the other corner, so we'll find out what happens as soon as he gets the helmet off. Caution came out there, and then we turn around, and you're going over at the fence. Tell me what happened.
Going into turn 4 here, or turn 3, it's got a little bit loose, got into a rut, and car kind of stuck. Didn't really give me much option. Car stuck a lot going into the corner and just sent it up into the fence. From there, just tossed over a couple times. It's an unfortunate way to end our night. I was hoping for a lot more for our team, for Corey Cruiseman. Everybody's giving me a good car this week, and it's an unfortunate way to end our night, but I'm all right, so that's all that matters.
I guess the only silver lining, you can go find you a good seat early in the morning, get a good view for the rest of the good races tonight.
Correct, sir. Thank you. I just want to real fast say thank you to all my sponsors, everybody for helping me be here. Motor Racing Outreach, Pit Viper Sunglasses, Lucas Oil Racing Products. Sorry I let everybody down, but we'll be back here next year. So
There you go. Guys, back to you in the booth.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Now Brian will have the long walk back down the ramp.
Side by side. Out of fours, we try it once again. Still haven't completed the lap.
So we'll want to keep our eye on Sammy Swindell as we've got another one upside down. Turn number 1, that's the 2R, Connor.
Aiden Schmidt out of
2H.
Hopstad, Indiana, has been running micros and 1200s in Illinois and Indiana. And I believe this is probably his first midget race. If it isn't, it is one of just a handful of contests he's ran in a midget.
It appears as though they'll be able to push that, get that thing right and lock it back in gear and push it back off. I don't think anything's torn up on that race car for sure.
Looks like that's what they're going to try to do. Here's a Joe's Racing Products replay. He's the white car with the black nose, and over the right rear of Sammy Swindell and upside down, and fortunately no damage to the frame or anything.
Not even the Nerf bars.
So he is probably going to continue here.
Very little damage was spotted down here on the racetrack. Just the left side Nerf bar got pushed up a little bit. Close to the header, but not enough to cause any damage. Had just a little bit of oil that spilled out of the top of that valve cover on the racetrack. They've already got some dirt on it, and he's ready to go.
Thank you for the information, Brian. So Schmidt will try to
get a good shot
work his way. Yeah, he'll try to work his way back into the top 6. There's the updated Worldwide Technology Raceway flip count, currently sitting at 52.
Yeah, that ratcheted up quickly.
Here we go.
Swindell's still starting 11th despite the chaos that we've had here trying to get this going, and all of these cautions are actually hurting him because that's cutting into the time limit and his ability to move forward on the field.
Right, got to go and go now. He's got a good run off the bottom. Flipped off a couple of cars there.
He's going to have to get a couple at a time here as he's really 4 cars back on the outside looking in, and you got to wonder, does he experiment with the high side? He's going to dive in down low.
I don't see him coming off the bottom.
They're side by side in front of them, and when that's the case, there's really not any room for you to work your way in. Could have made it 3 wide there, but it would have been tight. The 3C as Brian Walters has the final transfer spot. Cody Hayes crosses down in front of him. Jeff Stoss into a transfer spot down the back straightaway, and here comes Sammy Stotty. He did move to the top.
He sure did.
Gotta go where they're not, as he's going to go back to the bottom. There's a path right through the middle of them if he's willing to cut in through it. But again, he's got to pick these guys off. He's only got 1 or 2 of them as he tries to get under Stassa.
There's another.
All right, there's another one for Swindell.
Cody Hayes in the 69. And this is for the transfer spot. Sammy Swindell. Contact made.
One more.
Hayes slides up. Laps winding down here, and Swindell is in a transfer spot. Stassa in 91, about 4 car lengths back down the back straightaway, trying to not let Sammy slip away, and that is exactly what the 3-time World of Outlaw champion is doing.
He had to come off the bottom to get a little something mounted. We've got a yellow.
Late race caution could set up a battle for the transfer spot, and that is the 5X Kevin Douglas was riding in 10th.
Impressive run.
Madison, Wisconsin is Deadless, but how about Sammy?
Indeed.
Who started in 13th.
Up to 6th now.
Well, and here's the thing, depending on how many more laps they're going to give these guys, if they get all 3, now with them lined up 1 by 1 and stacked up nose to tail, Sammy could pick up another couple of transfer spots here.
He for sure could.
He's also got to be careful because there might be somebody getting a little uppity in behind him thinking that this is the main event that I pass Sammy Swindell for a transfer and not be afraid to use a front bumper to do it.
We have seen instances like that in the past.
And unfortunately, if somebody has used the front bumper to get around him and someone spins, this officiating staff has not given the car getting spun out its spot back. That's just a consistent call that they've made the whole time. So he's got to get away from the guy in front of him and make a good restart to Sammy. And that part of being the GOAT is you're going to have a target on your back at all times here. So he starts right in behind Routston, then Braden, Deming, Wood, and Edwards, your leader as we go back to green.
Edwards, Wood, Deming, Braden, Ralston, Swindell hold down transfer spots for now.
Sammy went up in corner number 1 as you're watching your battle for the lead. He actually has a little bit of a run going here.
Sammy able to get by Ralston down to the inside of Braden for 4th. As Stassa and Ralston side by side for a transfer. Sammy trying to get out of that as Deming now slips back. So Sammy is up to 3rd. Deming in 4th, Braden 5th, and now Stassa to the outside of Ralston for the transfer spot still. Stassa has got it, gets caught behind Braden. Ralston gets by, coming to the checkered. Deming fell out. Blake Edwards wins it, Danny Wood 2nd, Sammy Swindell 3rd, Jack Ralston 4th, Travis Braden 5th, and Jeff Stassa gets the final transfer spot. Wow.
So both Sammy and Stassa through the N and through the M main events. So they will move on to the L's. We get ready for our second M feature, but a couple of drivers coming up and through. Nice run for Jeff Stassa, and again, all eyes on Sammy as he did everything he had to do and a little bit more to keep his race day running here.
Yes, he did.
It's our 36th annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Midget Nationals live on Flow Racing. Folks, 11:20 Central.
One thing about the Swindell cars in this building, they have something figured out on the bottom of this racetrack to get the car pivot and rotate, and you saw that in full form in that last consolation there. There's a good shot of the Crawl Puppy. What an amazing young night last night for young Landon Crawley as he clawed out of a C main event. There he is giving us a wave. Clawed out of a C main event into a B main event last night for his first ever appearance at the Chili Bowl Nationals. A Chili Bowl rookie, 15 years of age.
Well, Scotty, it looks like we're going to put you to work as we're going to get Brian Ward coming into the booth here in just a little bit. So we're going to send you out talking to some people and send you, I think, into the infield. Go check out some check out some stuff that's going on in there. Go visit with some dignitaries.
Thanks for coming in this morning, Scotty. It was a pleasure having you.
It's a tradition that I look forward to every year, coming in here, having some coffee, a few donuts, a few laughs, sharing some stories, and I always enjoy coming to hang out for a little bit in the old Easy Bake Oven. I know it's going to be a long day for you in here, my friend, and you do an outstanding job, Mr. Caleb.
Well, we have an outstanding team, Scotty, and that is definitely helping out a bunch. Thank you so much. Have some fun in the infield, would you?
That one over there next to you, he's a pretty good boy.
He's pretty good kid, huh?
We'll see you guys shortly.
All right, Scotty Cook, thank you for spending the morning with us as Brian Ward's going to jump in. We'll get a position swap as we get ready for the L feature. L feature number 1, or sorry, the M feature number 2. I'm sorry, I was getting a little premature there. Connor, go ahead.
All right, here's your starting lineup. It's going to be Jesse Denome and Carson McCarl making up the front row. Ryan Leavitt and Ty Wilkie in row 2. Devin Campfield, Dustin Wheeland in row 3. AJ Hernandez, Hayden Reinbold in row 4. Carter Chevalier, Jesse Little, row 5. Kenny Johnson, Tucker Clausmeyer, row 6, transfers out of the inn. And then a look at row 7, Travis Buckley, Caleb Says, Sean Destins, and Ricky Gaunt. And the lineup here about Carson McCarl, a part of the rich family racing history of the McCarl family.
McCarl from the outside of the front row.
Yeah.
And if you'll remember right, he had a Nerf bar dragging something serious that kind of acted like an e-brake and held him up quite a bit during his qualifying night. Now, chance to get everything all fixed up and back in good working order. Taking a look at Carson's entry here for this event. Carson came in driving for Cody Ledger Racing. It's a Boss chassis with a Mopar underneath it, so good ride for Carson, the only of the McCarls contesting the Chili Bowl. I saw Terry up top wandering around the pit area last night post-race as I went to go pay off my bounty to Clinton Boyles.
Let's go to Chris Wilner.
Yeah, well, he's through 2 already, and he's made some really good moves in these lower mains to keep on transferring on. Sammy, where's the car? Where's the racetrack you're liking now that you've got through a couple?
Well, I mean, you can run the top or the bottom. I think the top's a little bit faster, but, you know, for most of the race, I wasn't being able to get up there because there was cars right there. But that's the only thing. This car's way fast. You know, once we broke through and got there, we just started making some good laps, you know, on the bottom and stuff. So, you know, I just need room. Like the 2 races, the one before, the guy was just right in the middle, so it couldn't go anywhere. You know, I run up on some guys that running side by side, couldn't go anywhere. So when you only have these few laps, you don't need to wait. So that's all I need is room. I can win every one of them.
All right, Sammy's going to keep him going here, rolling off in the next one. Guys, he looks pretty awake now, I'd say so.
Add that one to our quote list. All I need is room. I can win every one of them. That's a good one from Sammy.
Yeah. Confidence, too.
Welcome in, Brian Ward.
Thank you, Caleb.
We're up to M number 2, by the way, is where we're hanging out here. So, one of the voices of Oklahoma. You're our local connection to this race where, I mean, we are still drawing cars from all over the country, but our Sooners really have a lot of pride in defending their home turf here at the Expo Raceway, and you get to see a lot of them coming up all the way through karts, through micros, and all the way into midget racing and beyond. And great to have you here on the broadcast and get a chance to offer a little insight from the booth.
Yeah, always fun to come inside here and get the different perspective. You know, it's been a little more active this morning than it was most of the week out there in the infield.
I said to the guys, boy, that flip count ratcheted really quickly, didn't it?
And I already got some good cardio in. I rode the mule up to the top of the ramp, start walking down, and then I hear you guys, oh, we got one upside down in turn number 1. So I quickly made it over there from the ramp to turn number 1 to
So we have a tweet from Connor Daly after his flip earlier. It said, really respect all the dirt racers out here. Such a tough form of driving to get good at. I feel like I just turned into a corner this morning and started cartwheeling. No idea why. Think it's time to retire from midget racing. Been fun trying to learn on to IndyCar 2022. So, you know, Connor Daly preaching that respect that he has, and a lot of people have, for these open wheel midget drivers, and certainly hope the part about Connor retiring from midget racing is not true. We hope to see him back here at the Chili Bowl in the future, but one thing he mentioned, the respect that a lot of people have for these drivers, Caleb.
For sure, and he echoed that just as much at the times that we've talked to him. I hope he unretires. You're right, it's been fun having him here with us, and hopefully he gets a chance to do it again. It's tough. I mean, you go for a ride, you tear up equipment, and emotions run high. He had said, I'm hoping to get more than one main event in, and his Chili Bowl ended far, far earlier than he wanted it to.
So Denome and McCarl will be on the front row of this one. Again, 10 laps in distance. Top 6 finishers will transfer. 10-minute time limit, although we haven't seen the time limit affect the outcome of a race, with the exception of the first P main.
Yeah, we ended up going like green, white, checkered on that one.
We did, yes. They got all of 2 laps in. But the field decided it didn't want to play nice. And
Hayden Reinbold on the outside of row 4 here has seen a couple of his teammates have pretty good weeks here. Tanner Thorson, Chase Randall, Casey Kane all had pretty strong runs. So Hayden trying to work his way through the soup and add on to what's been an impressive Chili Bowl showing for Reinbold Motorsports.
Well, lights go out on the pace truck and lights out around the arena. 10 more times around. Top 6 transferring here in M, feature number 2.
Out at turn 4, Denome on the pole, green flag in the air. And Denome a little sideways as we have cars stacked up. Buckley is involved, Camfield in 17C. The 45J, Sean Deskins, is involved. And then, I think that's the 46 of Kenny Johnson.
You guys can already see that left Nerf bar on Camfield's car where it got the nose from Johnson. You can see the S-curve, and you just wonder how much it got into the header, if at all.
Right. Let's get an update from Chris up top while we untangle things in turn number 1.
Yeah, well, the drama continuing here now at the top of the work area ramp in the turnaround area. The Jack Rouston machine's already been through a couple mains. Says his car's really good, but they've got an issue with the muffler, and you got to have one of those on the race car here to run, or else he won't be able to continue his run through the soup. So they're trying to get him to the top of the ramp here to roll down. Actually, he's already on his way down the ramp. They've had the saw. They had to cut off the original top of the muffler head, trying to get the other one attached with some clamps, but they're running out of time as they just sent a couple crew members back to try to get something to fit over the head of it. So Jack Rouston's journey in the soup here getting interesting as he's the next one out.
Well, Chris, we're going to see a lot of that at the top of the ramp today. We talked earlier about the quick turnarounds and some of the adjustments and changes crew guys will have to make. And, you know, lots of times it's just more so of asking the driver what they want. And, I mean, the driver's sitting in the car. They don't have time to get out and really do any work to the cars. So lots of times the crew guy comes in, hey, what do we need to change? This, and, you know, driver will, well, we need this, and this sucks, and this is great, but this is bad, and, you know, stuff like that. So a lot of that is just communication, and there's a lot of intensity up there whenever you're trying to make those quick turnarounds.
I'm curious to see how they get that muffler on there if we get a camera to the ramp, because that can be a difficult job. You mentioned the clamps. A lot of times you want to weld that on there. They're not going to be able to do that right now. Self-tapping screws, and it looked like there were already some holes in there that might have ripped out, depending on how that fits.
You could get a stainless steel clamp around that thing. Here's the thing, is that pipe's going to be hot.
Yeah.
So you're going to be working, you're going to have to be working in gloves, and as we both know, sometimes gloves and small motor skills don't really equate particularly well, plus an intense situation. So, yeah, they may have their work cut out for them up top.
Yeah, because they sent it down the ramp with no muffler on it. It was open there, and they're going to have to go do that work there on the ramp.
And you've been up there, and you've been up there during this day in particular. I mean, it's tight quarters, there's lots of people, and it only gets more intense.
Yeah, a lot of people are down there trying to be prepared for any instances where they've got to run to the work area. You know, this is the final day, their last opportunity. So anyone that's there with any of these cars on the track, they're there, ready, they're watching, so it gets packed on the ramp.
Tucker Klausmeier, certainly a driver to watch. Transferred in out of the second in main, and now trying to put together his run through the soup. Pale, the Kansas native, former Power I midget champion.
we talked about how packed it gets there on the ramp. The side of the ramp going down, that's where you see all the cars parked waiting to come on the racetrack. The exit ramp, officials are constantly have to clearing it, asking people to move over, get on the other side of the barrier. In an instance that a car has to quickly exit the racetrack, go up the ramp, it's a safety issue. So they keep the exit side clear, and they all cram on that entrance side of the ramp.
Sean Deskins was the car we saw in the work area there on your screen. He was caught up in the reason we're under yellow in that incident in 1 and 2. Still don't have a lap complete here.
So take a look at the way that the field is forming up, Connor. Tucker Klosmeyer catching a huge break here is now from his move-up spot. He's now outside row number 5. So he's picked up a lot of spots without a lap being complete. And he'll be knocking on the door of a transfer spot in no time if that car's in good working order. So Klosmeyer, we're looking outside row number 5, the red, white, and black number 27. As the lights go out, let's give a second try to get M number 2 underway.
Denome at Carl again going to bring us to green. 10 laps, top 6 transfer. Really good jump from McCarl. Gets out way in front of 1 and 2 as they're side by side in 3 wide throughout the field. As we see Hayden Reinbold and Tucker Klosmeyer both trying to work their way forward.
This is a beautiful move by Klosmeyer, just shooting the gap through the middle, and he's going to do it again to pick up another position or two. He's already into a transfer spot and itching for more, although he's going to give it back to Reinbold this time around.
Reinbold into the 6th position at the line, car upside down as 4 cars, make it 5 cars involved over there. AJ Hernandez, Jesse Little,
Caleb Size is the one who went upside down
is the one that got over.
Yeah, all started when Hernandez got turned around there and just traffic jam, everyone trying to get through.
So 5 cars involved, and everybody behind them is going, cool, thanks for the free positions. As safety crews work to untangle the mess in turn number 2. Size, the one who took the barrel roll, and he is on the hook heading up. And Scotty Cook on the scene down below. Scotty, I know that car driving away from you, but did you see anything as it was going away?
Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys, it looks like everyone is going to be able to get away except for the 21. Everyone will get away except for the 21.
Yeah, chaos down there, and surprised that only one of the 5 who was involved are going to go up the ramp and be done for this one. There's a look at Reinbold. A little weeble and a wobble to it, but nothing too bad. As he stays on and continues.
Very good looking race car.
Super Ricky Gaunt going to pick up some spots in that exchange. See if his day can continue. There's Johnson. There's Hernandez. Let's get a look at the Joe's Racing Products replay of how that all went down.
Hernandez got sideways, stalled Reinbold behind him, and then Says just went in and got over the right rear of Reinbold. I mean, at that point, he was going so hard into 1 and 2, there was no slowing down.
Absolutely nothing they could do at that point.
You said a little bit of a weeble and wobble there on Reinbold's car. I couldn't remember until we saw that replay which car got the right rear hopped, and it was Reinbold's that had that hard impact from Size, and I think you're right. It's got a little bit of a bend in it. We'll see how that affects the car once we go back green.
The single final restart, 2 down, 8 to go, but Carl, the leader, Wheelan looking to the inside of Denome. That's for the 2nd position. Leave It rides in 4th, and then it'll be Klosmeyer. And the 6X of Denome slides way up there.
Well, guys, check out Super Ricky Gaunt. He is moving up the field, elbows up on the bottom of the speedway, and Gaunt making a soup run. He's behind Chevalier, who's in 5th, and Gaunt's got a transfer right now. And a Kid Ricky. Uh-oh, commentator's curse. Reinbold gets him back on the bottom, so now we got a battle for that 6th position. Although Ricky's got speed, he just hammers her down and picks her back up. One of the few cars who's good both top and bottom. He knows the value of mashing the throttle pedal to the floor. As Kenny Johnson rides the wall, gathers her back together.
Buckley and 7NZ looking to the inside of Reinbold. That's for 7th as Gaunt has the spot right ahead of them. Gaunt slides up to the outside, trying to keep Reinbold behind him. Reinbold thought about turning down to the bottom and couldn't get the run he was looking for. Now gets to the inside as Gaunt slides way up high. Gaunt gets together with Chevalier, and the caution will come out. 3 cars stopped in 1 and 2.
Huh. Well, somebody
That
was
was
number
interesting.
1.
Yeah.
That'll end Chevalier with that left front. A big run from Gaunt on the outside, just got in the bumper. He came out of turn number 4 a lot faster, and just an incidental contact there, carrying all that momentum from the higher side of the racetrack as we get the replay here.
So here's your Joe's Racing Products replay. And yeah, I mean, Gaunt had 10 miles an hour on Chevalier entering that corner, and then Chevalier takes a double shot. He might be throwing the bird at the wrong guys there, as that was incidental at the end. As Chris has got a quick update for us up top.
El Main's coming out next, and a pretty cool story here with Anthony Esberg back with us out of Kelseyville, California. But you got a guy that's in your race that knows a little bit about you. You're 20 minutes older. Your twin, Thomas, is in this one. Is there any brother-to-brother rivalry? I think it's going to be escalated here.
Definitely will be. It's going to be a tough race. You know, we got a lot of competitors out there, and then making my brother in the same heat with me, same main, is going to make it even more difficult.
We know in the driver's meeting, Matt Ward said if you want to fight on the front stretch, if he roughs you up, so now that you got your brother in it, is that pretty much a go-ahead that you two will get after it?
I definitely got to be balls to the wall to make this one happen. It's a long 29 hours ride home, and whoever's going to be on the bottom end of that scoreboard is going to be having a tough ride.
All right, Anthony Esberg going to try to outduel his twin brother, Thomas, in this El Main.
Anthony, in the early running for